Jennifer with Women Loving Jesus, and today we are on Proverbs 14:23. In all labor there is profit, but idle chatter leads only to poverty. When we look at this scripture, it's basically saying that you can gain something from any type of labor that you do. And talking too much is not good for us and will not end up providing for us, which is poverty. After going over this scripture, I was just reminded of when, you know, I was younger and in my 20s or so, I just really kind of bought into a little bit of this undercurrent theme in our society that you working is not good. Now I worked. I mean, I've been working since I was 16. So there is a strong work ethic taught to me. And I worked a lot of hours. But it was this idea that, okay, I put in my hours and at some point I'm just not going to do anything. And maybe I can just veg on the couch for as long as possible, and that's the good life. Or you retire early, or you figure out how to not work at all, or something like that. And I'm not saying if you don't work in retirement and all these things is bad, but really God started changing my heart. And what was interesting is, I mean, if you looked at the hours I put in, especially, I mean, at one point, I don't even know how many hours I was putting in at work. And so it looked like I was very productive, but my heart really wasn't right, because there was this idea that you had the good life was sitting by the pool and just talking and chatting and doing nothing, even though I worked. And he started changing my heart that even not only with my work that I got paid for, but chores. And when we're talking about work, we're talking about all kinds of work. Work you might go to a job for. We're talking about work in the home, chores, volunteer work, services to others. All that is work. And I learned a balance that God wanted me to have personally and what that might look like, and to really see the value in some of the work I was supposed to do, and really trying to let God show me the work he wanted me to do at this time for where I was at and for me personally. And maybe it looks a little different for other people, or just what he wanted me to do. And as I started slowly, it wasn't an overnight thing, just changing my heart toward this idea of work and making sure I got rest in, because he does want you to rest. If you're working all the time, that's not good. He does call us to rest. And what does that rest look like for me versus what I think it looks like? First of all, it just in my heart changed, and it wasn't a drudgery. Even with things that like chores I didn't want to do in the past, my heart had changed toward that. It wasn't so much a problem to do those chores anymore. It was, I could see value, and God let me kind of enjoy them a little bit. And there's things that I do that other people would be like, oh, that's terrible. But God's put in my heart that it's not too bad. This is what you're doing. You do it. Okay, move on. So I think the biggest thing to get from this scripture today is just to seek the Lord with the work that you do at home and office, whatever it may be, service to others, and allow him to kind of change your heart and make it enjoyable. And realizing it's not necessarily a positive thing to figure out how to sit around and talk to people for 80 hours by the pool. There's not a lot of value in that. So I pray that the Spirit of the Lord with the scripture today has encouraged you.